Invincible is back on Amazon Prime with its second season, and already, fans are upset about it. I loved this show back when it premiered in 2021, and even dropped a video on it back in the day. I'm really glad it's gotten the love it deserves and is even confirmed for a third season coming in the future. Season 2 was split into two 4-episode segments, with the first being out already, and the latter coming out sometime in 2024. Needless to say, fans ain't too happy about it. Why make us wait 2 years if we're only gonna release 4 episodes? This is what happens when you dorks cry for better working conditions for animators. Look, I understand why people are mad about the mid-season hiatus, but at the same time, I recognize that leaving it on a cliffhanger is probably the best way to do it. We can never know the true reasons behind why things like this happen behind the scenes. Personally, I'm glad we can dive deeper into these first 4 episodes and compare them to season 1 to see where we've come after so long. Have I mentioned I love J.K. Simmons? From Whiplash to Spidey to this, he's truly an Season 2, Part 1 focuses heavily on a handful of characters and gives us a peek at what life is like for Mark post-Omni-Man. We start episode 1 with an ambiguous peek into a pretty dystopian Earth where Mark and Nolan are united and ruling everything. I love intros like this when they're left up for interpretation. Is this the future? An alternate dimension? A dream maybe? Eventually we figure out that the show is messing around with alternate dimensions and the whole multiverse idea, which never really comes back after the explosion in the first episode. Hopefully we can get some more insight into that in Part 2. I saw this brain dude get his head blown off, so he better come back in all his glory. Those epic clone dudes better whoosh him back with some alternate portal BS pronto. The reality after this dimension hopping is revealed later on, as Mark carries on working for Cecil to redeem all the killing he was complicit in during the fight with Omni-Man. I really like Mark's journey, and his characterization feels natural here. We get just enough stubbornness while understanding his goodness in contrast to his father. By the way, never compare him to his dad. He hates that.
Anywhere with the son of a psychopath. Hey, I'm being nice.
He's still in love with Amber, who is admittedly much more likable than she was in season 1. Not that that's saying very much. Look, I never really liked her character to begin with. I think Mark should have always been the Gwen Tennyson ripoff. I mean Eve, but you know, whatever floats your boat. We get a lot more focus on Debbie here, as she goes through a pretty depressing journey mourning her lonely predicament with what happened to Nolan and sending Mark off to college. I will say it was pretty sad to see her, well, sad, and Sandra Oh did pretty well in portraying that emotion. Pretty much every voice actor here is at the top of their game. That scene at the bar was magnificent, top to bottom. Her interactions with Donald, who also got the scene he deserved at the end, also gave me chills. I don't know why, but Cecil and Donald have always been some of my favorite characters, despite their more reserved role. In the final episode, we finally see Omni-Man again. Well, technically, we see him briefly at the end of episode 3, but you know. Nolan is really well done here, and his redemption arc was actually handled tremendously well. I love how episode 4 literally starts right where we left off at season 1. The whole scene of him flying through space, gazing wistfully into a black hole with his new beard. I loved it. It was a great idea to have him save a bunch of bug aliens and become their emperor, while regaining his purpose and sense of human morality. The little things they threw in that just feel so right. In the first season, Omni-Man tells Invincible to
think, Mark!
And here he tells him,
don't think, act! You need to fight like a Viltrumite!
Chef's kiss, honestly. Seeing his wife and new son on this planet and Mark's slow understanding of what happened just felt so natural and well done. I wanted to hate it, but I just couldn't. The fight scene between them and the Viltrumites was as gory and action-packed as ever, and it just made me chuckle a little bit to see a Steve Harvey-looking Viltrumite break Omni-Man's spine in half. The ending is left on a pretty bitter note. I sure hope Omni-Man doesn't actually execute it, because, well, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I love J.K. Simmons. I mean, his 2-second cameo in La La Land was the best part of that movie. I mean, the ending pretty obviously sets up the first episode's events to be a natural future. One where Invincible gives up and conquers Earth along with his father, but a bunch of things will be out of place there given episode 4's events. Guess we'll have to wait and see. You comic book losers are always one step ahead of the rest of us. Y'all better tell me what happens in the comments. I really don't want to wait another year to find out.
Read my books, Mark.